Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. So today I needed to put together an arrangement for an order. And the arrangement, they asked for us to make a wildflower looking arrangement. So I will tell you, I don't really have many wildflowers, but I am going to make it look as wildflower as possible. This is a glass vase filled with fresh water, and it has some flower food in there. The foam you're seeing in here is the air that's coming out of our pipes. So it will settle down, it won't look foamy. Once it's delivered, it'll take it just a little time for it to settle down. I'm going to start out with just a little bit of leather leaf as my base. For me personally, leather leaf just gives me a pretty good grid. It's an inexpensive foliage, so it just works pretty good. Now, I realize that not everybody likes leather leaf. You can use any kind of foliage that you would like as your base foliage. So I've greened out the base just really simply. It took about 6 pieces of leather leaf. Next, I'm going to come in with a few other types of greenery. This is a wild cherry. I actually went and cut it out of the yard, but I think it looks very wildflower. It has like a little seed pods. I guess these will be their blooms on this branch. But I thought that it's really pretty. And so I thought that looks wildflower, so I'm going to tuck in a little bit of that wild cherry. And this is just a small branch I just cut off. I'm going to tuck it deep down in there. Next, I have a little bit of Podocarpus. Podocarpus is, it's just a really pretty, it's weeping Podocarpus, so it kind of has a little bit of a weeping effect. Tuck a little bit of that. To me, I think foliage can just make an arrangement, and so it just makes it pretty. So I'm going to cut and put just a little bit of this in there, and I think that kind of makes it look a little wildflower. Next, I'm going to come in with, this is called olive foliage. I have never worked with it before, and I will say I don't know that it's my favorite. It just is not as pretty as I expected. I don't really know what I expected, but mixed in with the other foliages, I don't mind it so much. It's different, but I don't know that I'll keep that all of the time. It's just not something that's really exciting to me. All right, so we are greened out. We have plenty of foliage in this arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with Bales of Ireland. I really like Bales. Bales are a lime flower. You can see it's a pretty tall flower. I'm going to pinch these leaves out of the tip of that, of this piece of foliage. Bales of Ireland. I don't like that greenery tucked in there. Now, that is completely my preference. You can leave it if you want to. It just cleans the flower up to me. So that's why I pull that right out. All right, so I'm going to put 3 stems of Bales in this arrangement. Another thing about pinching that foliage out of the tip is it helps this flower stand up a little more. You can see they all have a bend. And if you'll pinch the foliage out of that tip, it'll help it stand up a little more. This is Solidago. You know, Solidago is one of my favorite filler flowers. It does look wildflower. It looks like something you could cut out of a pasture. And so I really like Solidago. Tuck a little bit of that in. All right, this is called Safari Sunset. Safari Sunset is in the Protea family. And I really like Safari. We use it often here in our flower shop because we need the color maroon a lot. We are in a college town, and so at Mississippi State, our color is maroon. And so this works perfectly, and it's pretty all year round. So next I'm going to put in some yellow roses into this arrangement. Now I realize that they are not wildflowers, but they're pretty, and so I'm going to put them in there. Now I'm going to take a little piece of wire and I'm going to wire this rose, and I'll tell you the reason I choose to wire roses. Now not every florist does that, and it's completely okay. It is completely up to you how you do your roses. The reason I choose to wire roses is strictly because I find a rose lasts so much longer when it's wired. I have actually put an unwired rose and a wired rose side by side on my table, left them out for several days. My wired rose lasted 4 days longer than my not wired rose. And what I mean by that is its head stayed straight up and it stayed hydrated. I just find that it lasts longer. And so for me personally, I would rather, if I'm going to send you an arrangement out, it's going to last longer. I'm going to take this wire, and this is the calyx. This little swollen part of the rose is called the calyx. I'm going to take this wire and I'm just pushing it slightly into that calyx, not even a ½ inch. I'm going to take this wire and I'm just going to wrap it right around that stem, just like that, okay? And I'm going to do that with every rose. The wire does not have to be this long. You can do, so a florist wire I believe is 18 inches long. You can cut it into fourths if you want to. It doesn't have to be very long. All I'm concerned about is the little neck of the rose. Their little heads get heavy, and so that's the reason I like to wire it. And so it doesn't have to go very far down. I mean, this is what, 3 inches? And so it doesn't have to go very far. I'm just taking those roses and I am cutting them at an angle and tucking them right down in, and then that one's already wired. Okay, next I'm going to come in with a couple of sunflowers, 2 or 3 sunflowers. These sunflowers, okay, so you can see how he's limp. His little head is heavy. So I'm going to take a piece of wire and I'm going to wire this sunflower. And it's strictly to keep those little heavy heads sticking up. Actually, that sunflower is not very good, so I'm going to throw him away. But you see how he's kind of bent a little bit? I'm going to take just this wire, I'm tucking it right into the disc of his little head, and I'm just twisting it around. This is going to give me a little bit more control of that flower. And you don't have to do sunflower, you don't have to wire every sunflower. You can wire as many as you like or leave them unwired, it's fine. I like the sunflower because it kind of gives you that wildflower look. All right, so there are our roses and our sunflowers and our Bales of Ireland. So the last thing I'm going to use is I went and cut some foliage and some flowers and stuff. And I cut, I believe this is in the azalea family. Let's see if I can see. This is in the azalea family. So it's just kind of a pink little bloom. And I love it. It's just pretty. And it's got some pretty foliage and those pretty little pink blooms. And I thought that certainly looks wildflower, so I'm going to tuck a little bit of that in. Now, I do not know the variety of these azaleas, but I just think they're really pretty. And I thought they would hold up really nice in this arrangement. And then lastly, I'm going to take a few of these yellow billy balls. They're also called Crispidia, but they're little orbs. They're just little round balls, and they're just so fun and pretty. Turn my arrangement around so that I can place these into this little arrangement. All right, so we are done with our wildflower arrangement. Turn it around and let you look. And there we go. So in this arrangement, we have some sunflowers, we have roses, Crispidia or billy balls. This is a type of azalea, solidago, and this is Safari Sunset and Bales of Ireland, and then lots of pretty foliage. Guys, thank you for being here this afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like videos like this or content like this, please be sure to follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, of course we're on YouTube, and we have a blog, and you can check out down below. All of those are listed down below. Guys, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.